Redditors who are married to Karens, how is it like? My mom is a literal Karen, it's her name. But she's like a bizarro Karen. She will constantly ask to speak with managers and supervisors and bosses. But when said managers arrive, she unloads about the employee helping her out was fantastic, hardworking, and friendly. And then she'll spend 20 minutes trying to figure out if she and the manager know someone in common. 9 times out of 10 they do. As a kid it would embarrass me. As an adult, it's one of my favorite things about her. She makes people feel good about the work they do, and it's really special to watch how wonderful she makes people feel. Plus she's got long gorgeous silver hair. Not married to a Karen, but married someone with a Karen for a sister. Sister-in-law is the freaking worst. I hate more than anything going out to dinner with her, listening to her order food, and talk to the servers. Holidays are also terrible. She sends out long lists of expected gifts list. She celebrates every holiday and birthday specifically for presents even when it not appropriate. Funny thing is, one time I was away from the dinner table when the bill came, and sister-in-law waited for me to return to pay the bill by actually handing it to me. She didn't give it to her sibling/my significant other or pay her half, but expressly handed it to me to pay. By the way, her husband is an idiot and they are a match made in heaven. My sister is a Karen. Everyone feels so sorry for her husband. Everything is his fault. He is treated like a slave. She only addresses him by yelling. She constantly insults him. We have no idea why he hasn't divorced her or flipped out and attacked her. We have all told her to cool it, and her response is that he's just so stupid. I could go on, but my sister really is a horrible person. I know a couple with a Karen. She blamed him for everything. The husband was, in our opinion, something of a saint. Once she broke a glass in the kitchen, came and sat back down at the table, and said, "That was your fault." We all just stared at her. She looked sheepish and said, "I knew that one probably wouldn't work." They're divorced now. I guess even saintliness has its limits. And her first name is really and truly Karen. Not the married to one, but my mom's a Karen. Literally overreacts to everything. Whenever something doesn't go her way, gotta speak to the manager or whoever is in charge. Sometimes really embarrassing to go out in public with her because she'll just yell at the service workers for the smallest of things. Also, she has a bob cut. Not married to one, but my aunt is. My uncle is this soft-spoken giant. He never stands up to her in any way, except once. At their daughter's wedding, she was about to interrupt the ceremony to close a window because she was chilly. Everyone sitting close could hear her whisper, "I'm going to do it, but I don't want to be a butthole." My uncle, in a calm quiet tone, says quickly, "Why stop now?" Almost as if his filter just missed this one. I swear I could hear my dad snort to Rose back, trying to hold in laughter. Karen was not happy. My mom's a Karen. She is self-aware she is a Karen. My siblings and I sent her memes about it. When my stepdad divorced her last summer, we were all amazed he lasted 17 years. To be honest, none of us like going out with her, it's terrible, and my husband just straight up tells her, "No, you aren't talking to the manager" when we go in a place. I'll tell you guys a story my stepdad told us. They are farmers and own a small beef and bee farm. They have a store they go to for bee supplies. The owner called my stepdad and asked him to please be the one to pick up their stuff because his staff was tired of dealing with my mom. He is the only one who went to the store for the next 5 years. My mom is a Karen. She thinks the world is supposed to cater to her, serve her, and everyone else is wrong. Once we went to Carl's Jr., she ordered 4 burgers for the 4 of us. She pulls one out of the bag while the guy's getting our drinks and hides it. She complains that he forgot a burger. She pulls them out one by one and counts it in front of him. It's obviously missing because she hid it, and he's swearing up and down he put them all in the bag. I'm stunned speechless, and it happened so fast. She got a free burger and laughed as we drive off. I'm just staring at her, and she opens it up to eat it on the drive home. And she ate her actual burger like the 5th one never existed. I can't even explain how she is when she's in the hospital. She treats it like a luxury stay in a hotel. I knew from the beginning that there would be difficulties, but I loved her and made the leap to make her my forever partner. Her attitude towards certain people and things confused me at times, but by keeping an open mind and accepting her for who she was, everything has worked out well. We've been married for 10 years, we have a darling daughter, and I've even come to love my wife's kimchi fried rice. I taught my nephews, ages 9 and 11, about Karens last year when they stayed with us for a week after school let out. After describing trays and observing them in the wild, they asked somewhere around day 2, "Is our mom a Karen?" My reply, "You words, not mine." Not married 4 years of a toxic relationship though. I broke up with her on Monday, again. We are kinda doomed financially because of this lockdown, so we are just feeling things out for a month before we decide for sure. This cycle is on repeat. I constantly have to cut her off and speak over her because of the way she treats people. Waiters, sales assistants, gym staff, neighbors, landlords, randoms we meet in bars, etc. We were both waiters at the beginning of our relationship, so she has worked in the industry but still lacks empathy. She blames the waiter if something is out of stock, etc. My second major issue, we are both English second language teachers. She teaches kindergarten while I teach high school. Now that we are working from home, I hear how she speaks to her students, and it's really opened up another aspect of her personality that I don't like. She will berate a student for not understanding instead of evaluating her ability to explain. Crapping on 3-year-olds in their second language doesn't fly with me. A lot of her behavior stems from a self-defense mechanism due to insecurity, but that's not an excuse. She doesn't realize how mean she is to people, including myself. I'm a people pleaser that would rather sacrifice my own comfort than someone else's. She expects me to be a butthole to people because I'm a biggish guy with tattoos. I don't exactly look soft. It's toxic as hell. Please help. PS. The lover making is so good it rivals most porn. Easily. Not married but dated a male Karen for 8 years. He was a semi-successful business owner who was twice my age, and I was young and dumb for a lack of a better word. The gist of our relationship was him trying to take over every part of my life. For instance, he would order for me at restaurants and would dissuade me if I wanted to try something new. If I had a problem with something, it would be brushed off, but if he had a problem, then he had to talk to a manager. Not knowing any better, I just thought he was very particular and even started copying some of his tendencies, like speaking up when I felt I wasn't getting the right service when I was out on my own. I realized who he was when we were flying back from Vegas and our luggage was heavier than when we flew in. Obviously, we'd bought extra things which made up for the weight difference, so as he demanded to know an explanation from the check-in clerk as to why, if it was the same luggage, would it somehow weigh more. I innocently answered that it must have been the extra shoes and clothes. He was quiet and paid up. Later he told me to not to do that again, as he knew the reason why the luggage was heavier. He was just trying to get away with not paying. At that moment a bulb went off in my head. This man who'd spent $1,500 on a stripper for his friend was making an already stressful job more stressful for the clerk in order to avoid paying $60. We broke up soon after, and I checked myself on the Karen tendencies he drubbed off on me. Not married to one, but my mom is absolutely one. I spend most of my time with her in public apologizing to people after she walked away. The only time she is useful when I would buy cars and had her come in during the price negotiation phase. She's knocked off thousands purely due to how unpleasant she is and how much people want her to just get the hell out of the door. My ex-wife is a Karen in every sense but name. It was always so embarrassing. She was incapable of treating anyone like a human for the most trivial of occurrences. It was hell for me as a person that's pretty forgiving and don't seek out confrontation. So in a one-word description, it was hell. She was very outspoken but nothing like she was later in the relationship. At the time we were both young and partied a lot, so I chalked it up to the drinking. She's also obsessed with anything new age, self-help books, and psychics. There were numerous red flags before marriage, but I was young and naively thought she'd change. You can guess how that worked out. She's very codependent and jumps from relationship to relationship these days. Not surprised. My mom is a Karen. Not fun. I think she was part of the reason the girl I loved Left because whenever she was around my mom behaved much better and put on a nice face. We argued frequently about my relationship with my mom. Hurts a lot. Don't think I can fully let this one go. Engaged to one. She was raised like a princess by her military raised father. However, she's super down to earth, but God forbid you work in the service industry and mess something up. She worked at IHOP during college, so it humbled her compared to her family. She just writes reviews now, good or bad, and emails corporate to complain. If something is wrong with my food, she refuses me to sit there and eat it, which I hate, but I have gotten her better about it, I believe. So maybe she is just a recovering Karen at this point. Divorced an abusive Karen who was convicted of domestic violence. That's a misdemeanor, folk, so she got half of everything. Totally worth it. My life before was a nightmare. Escape was priceless. I'm not married to a Karen, but someone in my family decided to make a Karen family, and let me just say, it is freaking hell. I do not go to any social event if said Karen will be there. Keeps the peace in my family, to be honest, nor do I go alone with Karen. She is a nightmare to everyone in her path, from car guards to cashiers, even her friends. No one can be better than her or smarter than her, and she's just freaking exhausting, man. The worst part is, her kids are becoming just like her. My mum is a bit of a Karen, and we are pretty much no contact now, so that should tell you everything you need to know. Whenever we'd go out to eat, it's always too cold. They don't have the brand of sparkling water she likes. They've put ice in her drink when she didn't want it. She always has to make some kind of modification to her order, etc. The list goes on. It got to the point where, if we were out shopping and she said she needed to return something, I'd just go somewhere else, because I couldn't stand watching her be rude and argue with the staff. My parents are divorced, and I live with my dad now instead. Part of the reason I barely see my mum is because I'd have to meet her in public, go for a coffee or something, and I just can't deal with the way she behaves in these places, so I don't go. Obligatory not married to a Karen. However, my mother is a Karen, and Lord is it not easy. I don't even know how many times I've had to correct her on the way she speaks to servers. Doesn't listen. The smallest inconvenience, she wants to talk to someone higher up. She overreacts to every inconvenience and is the type to try and bargain at a retail store. Apparently, the concept of set price does not apply to her. Can't stand it. I'm glad I no longer live with my parents. I love my mother, I do, and she has great qualities, but she is the most Karen a Karen can be. I'm divorcing a Karen. Nothing was ever good enough. Everything had to be the most expensive thing, and even then it wasn't good enough. It was exhausting, and it sucked the passion I had for life out of me. She never said nice things about me, to me or to other people. My best friend came over for a barbecue with his wife and kids, and she and her mother just mocked me the whole time to my friend's wife. My friend's wife confronted them about it. Even on our wedding day, the part you say nice things sounded like a tentatively warm school report card. The nicest thing I remember her saying about me was, "I like how you make the salads. It's better than how I make it." The whole time that's the best I can think of. Best friend married a Karen. This woman is a whole different level of Karen. He makes a large 6-digit salary, but has to work cycle shift away from home. She has the option to move from home, so they can live as a family, but refuses because she has what she calls a career. She sells scents and works a clerk job at an HR office. They have 2 kids. She can't handle them. She makes him drive home from work every day, so she can work out for 30 minutes in the evening. It's a 7 hours commute. He had to buy another vehicle because he couldn't take the company vehicle back and forth. So expensive and dangerous. There are too many things. Here's some. When she's working at home, he has to leave the house with the kids and can't come back until she says it's okay. She has insane spending habits on unnecessary stuff, Amazon, scents and other MLM products. Any negative things that happen in her life are his fault, and he has to fix it immediately, no matter the cost. She texts and calls him every 10 minutes at work to complain about him being away from home and how the kids drive her crazy. She made him buy a luxury camper, $40K, so she can visit him at work. Came one time. She puts the kids in daycare, even though it costs them more than she financially makes. Wants more kids. She wants huge renovations done. but refuses to watch the kids while he does them. He has to watch them while working. Nothing gets done quickly, and that gives her anxiety and stress. Makes him 10 job fairs in hopes that he'll find a job making just as much money. It won't happen, but he does it anyway to please the demands. It frustrates me because my time with him has literally become therapy sessions where he vents for hours. It's brutal and I hate that he tolerates it. The one that gets me the most is that she'd rather pretend to have a really good career than move with him so they can live a great family lifestyle. They'd save lots of money and they would be a much better parenting team. When I first met my wife, she was beautiful in every single way. I remember looking at her when we walked around a lake, and as she spoke to the ducks I thought I'm going to marry this beautiful Snow White. She loved all animals, and they loved her right back. Her soul was pure. She looked like a queen in everything she wore, be it jeans or a sundress. She was never a princess type woman. She was always destined to be my queen. She demanded love and respect because that was what she deserved. I'm not sure when she changed, but slowly and surely, she did. She humiliates me, she belittles me, and she saddens me. I'll never be right or even acknowledged to have a valid point or opinion. She wastes money that I work hard to earn. She has strategically spaced out our pregnancies to maximize the time she doesn't have to return to paid work. She has admitted this. Why don't I leave her? Better the devil you know. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, get subscribed, and tell us if you have ever encountered a Karen in real life in the comment section, and support the original writers with upvotes. Links in the description box.